Avoid Lord's Path to Planar Conquest Chapter 5, Beginning of Plane Occupation. With the attack of Tessis, there are more and more souls here in Satra. Although the level is low, it is necessary to know that quantitative changes lead to qualitative changes. The believers of Tessis also followed the fight all the way with a bewildered look. It is better to say that it is a battle to clean up the battlefield and collect the spoils. Because the battle has nothing to do with him, every time a group of wolves besieged up, there are only corpses left on the ground. For these, Tessis can only explain that he has already taken refuge in his majesty a true god, and he will rise up in the future. Their own believers will also become more and more wealthy, and their territories will become larger and larger. These explanations make believers excited, knowing that there are no true god-level gods in the entire Beiwang. It is no wonder that such a powerful divine beast can be dispatched. The gods of their own family have His Majesty the true God as their backing, and their strength will naturally become stronger and stronger. Life as a believer will naturally go up as well. I believe that it won't be long before a sect can be established. Generally speaking, only those true gods or powerful demigods are qualified to establish a sect. To preach, to increase faith. Not to mention these, Tessis is constantly attacking the surrounding gods' territories. Unconsciously, a month has passed, and now Tessis is already a ** with tens of thousands of people. And Satra also promoted him to a second-level demigod. These believers were plundered from other gods of faith, and they have all converted. Even if there are a small number of people who haven't forwarded the letter, they can't make any noise. After all, this is a world that believes in God as the Lord. Many people are used to it, and many believers are pan-believers. Basically, wherever you go, you believe in the gods there. The remaining fanatics were basically cleaned up. Along the way, Tessis did not leave any gods as his subordinates. Even some gods who surrendered early before the battle began, were still killed. Because Tessis does not want to be replaced, he has already tasted the sweetness, tens of thousands of believers and the power of demigods. He didn't want other gods to share. How could Satra not know this thought? But he didn't care, as long as Tessis could bring himself a soul and conquer the plane. This ambition made Tessis more active in plundering souls and lands for him. Anyway, he can control his life and death at any time. This is the war of faith. There is no so-called good and evil, everything revolves around the gods. Bloody, brutal and crazy. Through this period of time, Satra absorbed dozens of divine souls and a bunch of ordinary believer souls. All the souls were accumulated in the Rubik's Cube, and all other souls were sacrificed by Sata. And there are 2 first-level arms nests, namely the Black Eagle and the Rock Sheep. 15 Rock Sheep and 10 Black Eagles can be recruited every week. Recruiting Black Eagles also requires only flesh and blood, while the Rock Sheep need stones. These are their food. The Rock Sheep looks like a sheep, but it is actually an elemental creature with the earth attribute, and its main food is stones. There is also a newly recruited Dark Wolf for this plane invasion. Satra brought the Dark Wolf's lair back to its statue form. Except for the demigod territory in the current Beiwang, it is basically difficult to find belief in gods in other places. Mainly the other gods of faith were frightened by the madness and cruelty of Tessis. Most of them took refuge in Lom, the only demigod in the northern wilderness, god of wilderness hunting. The whole believer has also migrated there. From the name of Lom, you can tell that he has already realized the vocation of wilderness hunting. As a veteran demigod, his divine power has already reached its peak. As long as there are enough believers, he can even attack the true god. Unlike other bare-headed gods, it is just a nickname-like name, not a priesthood. And although Tessis has reached the strength of a demigod, those were directly instilled by Satra and forcibly promoted. And the priesthood needs to be understood by oneself, these things Satra can't help. However, Satra has a way to solve this problem, that is to directly seize Lom's priesthood and let Tessis absorb it. You have to ask me why Satra himself does not absorb priesthood. Mainly because absorbing the priesthood to become a ** is tantamount to adding shackles to oneself, and it is easy to be polluted by the power of faith. To know that becoming a believer in God is tantamount to giving one's life to the believer. Once the believers die, they will be attacked by their beliefs. Moreover, many believers' beliefs are not pure, and over time their souls will be polluted by these distracting thoughts. Therefore, it is absolutely impossible for Satra to absorb faith into a god. Of course, Satra does not absorb it himself, but as a collection of rules, priesthood is a good resource. Whether it is used for sacrifice, training troops, or trading with other lords, it is hard currency. Those who died before can only be regarded as divine creatures, but their flesh and blood also contain rich divine power. And Sata sacrificed him all his flesh and blood resources into the Dark Wolf's lair. And it is these flesh and blood that the newly recruited Dark Wolf is much stronger than the previous ones. As long as you use more faith in God's flesh and blood to cultivate, I believe it won't take long. The Dark Wolf's lair may evolve into a third-level unit. Now the biggest enemy of the northern wilderness is Lom, the ** of wild hunting. This time, Tessis did not act recklessly. According to his own investigation, it seems that the true ** behind Lom gave him a lot of help. Not only did he give Lom a batch of metal weapons, but he also sent a lot of guards to help him. Metal weapons, you must know that even the current Tessis is only possessed by a few senior leaders of believers. Each of them regarded these weapons as family heirlooms. Hearing this, Tessis panicked a little, and hurriedly went to Satra to ask for help. It happened that Satra had recruited a lot of troops recently, so he handed over the previous first-level troops and half of the Dark Wolves he had recruited to him. Only those new Dark Wolves were left behind. This time, Tessis finally had some confidence. He already had 24 demigod-level wolves here, plus a group of big spirit-level Black Eagles and Rock Sheep. On paper, his strength is no worse than Lom's. Soon, Tessis gathered his followers. 10,000 soldiers. It can be said that he has all the troops he can fight at present, and the rest in the territory are all the old, weak and sick. This is already a mess. If you win, you will be able to dominate Beiwang. If you lose, you will have nothing. There is no other way but death. There is a saying that, the number of people exceeds 10,000, and there is no limit. A group of soldiers followed the mighty march of Tessis, all the way to the territory of the wild hunting god. Looking at Lom again, as an old-fashioned * who has survived for thousands of years, he is only one step away from the true god. The recently rising * Tessis slaughtered all the way, but Rom got a lot of followers, his own believers also grew a lot. Mainly, many believers of gods came to Lom and were attracted by the prosperity of his territory and cities, and many believers directly converted to Lom. In addition, he used this as an excuse to ask for assistance from his backer, god of battle, Vos. Got a lot of supplies and troops. Now Lom hopes that Tessis will spend more time on the expedition outside, so that he may gain more believers. Maybe he will just gather enough followers of the true asterisk and become the true asterisk directly. At that time, I no longer need to look at the face of God of Battle, Voss. Of course, Lom thinks too much. True God is not so easy to achieve. Otherwise, it would be impossible for this world to have only 14 true gods for so long. These changes have made Lom feel a lot better recently. Of course, he still needs to pretend to be from other slave gods. Those who believe in God have no way to go out, but they dare not go out, they stay here. Recently, the believers of Lom come every day to publicize, and many of their own believers have run away. Lom didn't take Tess seriously at first. After all, how could a new demigod be his opponent? But just now, according to the report from his priest, Tessis had sent a large army to come here. Moreover, the strength of the army has grown a lot than before. The number of demigod-level wolves has doubled, and there are also some great spirit-level black eagles and sheep. Hearing this, Lom was a little confused. Judging from the situation, there must be a true asterisk behind this Tessis to help him. But it seems that among the current true gods, none of the true gods has these wolf-like divine beasts. Even the true animal tiger god tiger, doesn't have so many demigod-level black wolf mythical beasts. Is it a new god? It shouldn't be. You must know that all creatures in the plane of true gods will receive information. Impossible to hide. Not wanting this, Lom could only inform his chief priest to call for soldiers and prepare to fight. The chief priest is his highest-ranking believer. If Lom has a sect, then the chief priest is the pope. After a long period of training, the chief priest of his own has also reached the level of a demigod. Of course, the source of the priest's strength comes from the gods. He can withdraw this power at any time, so don't worry about him rebelling at all. With the issuance of the order, the entire northern desolate city began to operate. Listening to the name of this city, Northern Desolate City, you can know what Lom is thinking. He has long regarded Beiwang as his own possession, and will never allow anyone to touch his territory. Tessie's territory is nearly 100 miles away from the North Desolate City. 10,000 people marched, and after 7 days of marching, they finally arrived at Beiwang City. Along the way, Lom also thought about sneak attack or something, but Tessis had black eagles and wolves on guard, so he didn't give any chance of sneak attack at all. Lom has been the overlord of the northern wilderness for a long time. The number of his followers has already exceeded 100,000, and his subordinates also have 40,000 or 50,000 troops. However, his territory is too large, and it is impossible to mobilize his troops with all his strength like Tessis. But even with the addition of other soldiers from the gods, there are more than 20,000 troops in Beiwang City. Judging from the number of people, it seems that they are not opponents at all. However, from the perspective of high-level combat power, Tessis has 24 demigod-level dark wolves. And Lom, the priests and hunting warriors he trained by himself, plus the 10 2-level heroic knights, assisted by Voss. Lom only has these 16 second-level troops. The great spirit level Lom has a lot of belief in gods, and Tessis has troops supported by Satyr. Both sides are about the same. The other Tessis are far worse than Lom. But because of the extra few demigod-level wolves, the difference in the number of troops can almost be erased. The two sides currently appear to be about the same in strength.